One of the most brilliant things about horror as a genre is that horror can be based on a certain holiday. The most common one, of course, is Halloween, but there have been movies based around holidays such as the 4th of July, Thanksgiving, St. Patrick's Day, and even Mother's Day. And as we head into December, there is no better holiday to talk about than Christmas. Christmas has had a lot of horror movies themed around it over the years, with the 1901 short film Scrooge, or Marley's Ghost, being the earliest surviving screen adaptation of A Christmas Carol, which, to be fair, is a classic ghost story, all the way up to the 21st century with films such as Krampus, which is based on the Alpine folklore of the same name. So with this in mind, I have decided to look at 3 films in December to get you into the Christmas spirit, starting with the 1980s slasher film Christmas Evil. Christmas Evil was written and directed by Lewis Jackson and was originally titled You Better Watch Out, which still appears on the title card in the film. It also went under the name Terror in Toyland and also the working title Santa. Christmas Evil has over time picked up in popularity and has become a cult movie thanks to people like John Waters, who you may know as the creator of the original Hairspray, Cry Baby, Pink Flamingos, or getting his face melted off by Chucky in Seed of Chucky. He said that Christmas Evil is actually his favourite Thanksgiving Christmas film. It was also seized and confiscated in the United Kingdom under the Obscene Publications Act of 1959 during the video nasty panic, but it did finally get released uncut in 2012, which, to be fair, films that end up on the video nasty list generally end up being more popular amongst fans of gore, myself included. The film is interesting, as even though it does generally get classed as a slasher film, most of the film is not a slasher, but instead a study of the main character Harry, played by Brandon Maggart. Throughout the film, you go through a rollercoaster of emotions with Harry. For most of the film, you do feel sorry for him, and then he'll do something that will creep you out, but then you end up going back to rooting for him as you see this man get mentally and emotionally broken down. There are also some other famous faces that you'll see along the way, but before we continue and actually start looking into the film, this is your final warning about spoilers. So please, if you want to watch the movie, go now and then come back and watch this video. And with that final warning out the way, let's look at Christmas Evil. We open up in suburban New Jersey on Christmas Eve 1947, where we see a young Harry, his brother Philip, and their mother sitting on the stairs watching Santa come down the chimney and deliver presents. The opening of the movie has a surreal fantasy feeling of it, like it's in the mind of a child. I believe that it is a dream that older Harry is having, as after the past we jump to the present day and see Harry waking up. We also meet one of the many conflicts for Harry at this stage, the belief of Santa. Philip does not believe it was actually Santa and believes it was his dad. Harry does not agree with this and calls him crazy, which is amusing seeing how things turn out. But when Harry goes downstairs, he sees Santa with Mum, which in turn causes Harry to smash a snow globe and cut his hand. I believe it gives an impression that Harry can't have Santa tainted in any way. Santa is a good person, and seeing Santa and also his mother act naughty is something that he can't cope with. We see this a lot throughout the film, the idea of Santa, present giving, and Christmas in general. It's the most important thing for Harry, and if you go against him, it will not end well. We are now in the present day, and from the set dressing you can tell that Santa and the idea of Christmas has taken over Harry's life. Lewis Jackson said that he spent 10 years collecting all of the Santa items for this movie. You can literally say this film was 10 years in the making. You'll also see in the set dressing the use of red and green for the colour of Christmas and Santa. Throughout the movies, these colours are used in very subtle ways which give the feeling that Christmas is always there, watching over Harry, even when it's directly not in your face like it is in his office or in his home. We then start seeing a more darker side of Harry. Now, according to the director, he did not mean for the watching scene to come across as creepy, as he saw it in the eyes of Harry, but there is no doubt that the vibes and the music push the creepiness. Harry is watching the children in the houses across the street, checking who is naughty and who is nice. He will then write down his findings in the naughty and nice books that he has in his apartment. But then again, saying things like, "Come on, my little darlings," really pushes the creepy vibes.
Come on, where are my little darlings?
There are two children that are mainly the important children, Susie Lovett and Moss Garcia. These two children are the polar opposites. Susie is the loving nice girl who sits and cuddles a teddy bear, whereas Moss picks his nose and wants a subscription to Penthouse magazine.
I wish I had a lifetime subscription to Penthouse magazine.
Moss Garcia.
The reason that these two are important is that they bring out the two different sides of Harry as Santa. With Moss, he wants to punish, which he actually does later in the film by scaring him and delivering a bag of soil to his front door, which was inspired by the folklore of Black Pete, who, according to the director, would leave a mark on the house of naughty children and then leave a bag of soil. There's also things about him taking naughty children in a bag back to Spain, but let's ignore that. Whereas with Susie, she actually comes across as Harry's favourite, and at parts in the film, it actually becomes somewhat stalkerish and unnerving. I was really starting to question Harry a lot at these parts, but yeah. Harry works at the Jolly Dream toy factory in a low-level positioned role. His co-workers treat him like garbage and also use him. They don't listen to him at all. And then we meet Frank, who actually takes Harry's food and says to Harry's face that he hates Christmas. Again, another trigger for Harry. Frank makes Harry cover his late shift, as he and his wife want to leave town early. When we see Harry in the office, we actually see a giant, somewhat sinister looking Santa looking over him. Again, foreshadowing what is coming, and in a way, somewhat of a devil on his shoulder. There's also some deleted scenes which expand more on the Frank and Harry situation. I do find that it does seem a bit out of the blue that Frank will just call Harry and say to him, "You are covering for me, as I know you like to be on the line." Once Harry has done Frank's shift, he goes past the bar and actually sees Frank in the bar. It was a lie. He just did not want to work, which again pushes Harry that little bit further, as he knows he's been taken advantage of again. And as Frank says,
I got that schmuck Harry working for me tonight.
Harry goes home and in a rage breaks one of the dolls in the dollhouse while humming Christmas tunes. We are now starting to see the unravel of Harry, where he wants to punish Frank for being naughty. This scene is very effective, as the director gave Brandon the idea of what needs to happen and just let him do whatever he needed to do. It really shows the cracks are beginning to form for Harry. Harry goes back to his childhood house and watches his younger brother play with his children. His younger brother is actually played by Jeffrey DeMunn, who you may know from The Walking Dead. Harry's then watching his brother and his sister-in-law get frisky, which causes him to have flashbacks to when he was a child seeing Santa with his mum. Harry is struggling to deal with the past, but so is Philip. Philip throughout the film is constantly angry with Harry and Harry's odd behaviour. It is Philip's wife Jackie who is actually showing more sympathy towards Harry, more than his own brother. What's interesting about Philip is he is ashamed of Harry and how Harry is. But there's also this interesting dialogue where Jackie's telling Philip of the presents that the children need, and Philip says,
"I have to repossess a large family this week."
Even though it's not said throughout the film, this means that Phillips more than likely works for a bank or some form of loan company and really could be seen as an arch enemy of Harry. It also gives the feeling of him being a Scrooge-like character, and it also goes into the theme of being greedy and consumerism. Philip will happily have to destroy a family just so that he can see his children get presents. This is something that would definitely put you on the naughty list. It is now Thanksgiving, and Harry is meant to be going for Thanksgiving dinner at Philip's house, but cancels as he's too enthralled with the Christmas parade. The parade footage was actually filmed by Lewis Jackson, and none of it was actually taken off the TV. Lewis said that when the Santa float came round, he was shouting and screaming to get his attention, and as Santa turned, he looked straight at the camera, which is the shot that we actually see used. At this point, we see that Harry is now sinking further and further into the delusion that he is the true Santa. The line between what is real and what is not is slowly blurring as we see Harry make his suit. The suit is meant to have more of a 19th century style to it with the grey fur. It also makes it stand out to the other Santas in the movie, and to be fair, when you see the complete product, it looks really good. Props to the costume department. Harry now starts to delve more into the delusion of Santa, as he now sends a warning to Moss Garcia by leaving a symbol on his house. The kiss on the wall was actually improvised again by Brandon, and actually caught the director off guard when he did it. We then see the sad truth for Moss. His mother slaps him, and you come to think that maybe he acts the way he does due to his home life. As Lewis Jackson says in the commentary, the scariest side for Moss is at home. Harry then goes to the company Christmas party. It is here where it shows the two sides of Harry. We see Harry look in the mirror, copy what Santa did in the past, and then slide his hand over his face. Clearly, Harry is not showing his true self. Well, what he sees as his true self, which is Santa. At the Christmas party, you find out that Jolly Dreams is donating toys to a children's hospital as long as the production increases to a sufficient rate and that the employees donate their own money. Harry starts to get mad when one of the higher-ups introduces the new training executive who actually came up with the idea of the donation scheme. You can see in the scene that Harry is struggling to keep a hold of the grip of his anger, his eyes twitching. He hates the fact that the company does not even know if they have enough toys to donate or how many children are even in the hospital. This then turns Harry into essentially an anti-hero, as Harry steals toys from the factory and then also fills other bags with dirt. It is then when Harry fully embraces Santa. On Christmas Eve, Harry glues the beard onto his face and enters into a dissociative fugue state. As he pulls his beard laughing to the point of tears, he says, "It's me. Harry is now Santa." We first see Harry in his full Santa outfit, and it is shot beautifully. The burning fire, and then Harry raising his knife. It's so beautifully shot. It is one of my favourite shots in this film. Harry begins delivering presents off at houses, and we also see him deliver soil to Moss Garcia's house. Harry then goes to the hospital where he goes and drops off presents. What does make me chuckle about this scene is that the security guard is unsure of Harry, which makes perfect sense, as you shouldn't trust a stranger, let alone a stranger with wrapped packages. I mean, it could be a bomb. But then he takes the package and still takes it inside, so it could still be a bomb. When we see Harry in his van, he starts remembering what the young executive said about not knowing how many children there in the hospital, which causes Harry to drive to the church. The young executive is actually attending midnight mass at the church. We then see a group of young men taunt Harry, and then suddenly Santa has to deal with the naughty people as he stabs and chops. The fact how the tone changes so quickly from Harry helping to Harry murdering is absolutely crazy. But in a way, it helps show the unstable mind of Harry. One minute he's laughing and shouting, "Merry Christmas!" The next minute he's stabbing someone in the eye with a toy soldier. And bear in mind as well that we are just over 50 minutes into the movie and we've just had our first kill. Hence why I said earlier, it's not really a slasher movie. After driving round, Harry comes across a Christmas party where we see a familiar face with Mark Margolis from Breaking Bad. We see that Harry is still on edge as he's getting ready to retrieve his weapon, but of course he is welcomed and he then begins to dance and enjoy himself with the rest of the partygoers. It is actually nice seeing Harry in his comfort zone as he is getting to live out his fantasy of being Santa. However, there's also been some discussion that this could have all been in Harry's head. The director has said that over the years of viewing, it can be seen that a lot of it does not actually happen. I, however, don't agree on this. I believe that it's all happening. The main issue is that Harry strongly believes that he is Santa, even down to him driving his van, as he believes his van is being controlled by reindeer. While Harry is dancing, the police have begun their investigation with the murders. Harry then decides to go to Frank's house. Harry tries to go down the chimney, but realizes he's not able to get down. We see him get angry and frustrated as he is not able to do what Santa can actually do. I believe that this could be the start of the realization that he is not Santa, but Harry will not accept this, hence him hitting the chimney in frustration. Harry does eventually find a way into Frank's house and ends up leaving presents for Frank's children. He then ends up killing Frank while he's asleep in bed. John Waters calls this movie a black comedy, and in a way this is where it can show as a black comedy. You have the children laughing and getting excited over Santa, when in the next room Santa's killing the father. We are now at Christmas Day and Philip is believing that something is wrong with Harry. He then sees the news report regarding the murders at the church, where we see an interesting Geraldo Rivera impression. We can then see that Philip has thoughts that it might be Harry. We also have a bit of history repeating, as one of the children says that he tells his brother that Santa is not real. However, the other brother says that his uncle Harry told him and therefore he is real. It almost pushes a bit of worry of history repeating itself in the family. Could young Dennis become the next killer Santa? Harry wakes up in his van. His suit now is dirty and dishevelled. He returns back to the Jolly Dreams toy factory and actually turns on all the assembly lines, breaking all the toys, as Harry sees that these toys are subpar. We suddenly jump to a police lineup of Santas. Again, we suddenly have this shift of tone and humour, and again it puts it back into that black comedy style, and as quick as we go from an amusing Santa lineup, we jump straight back to the dark side of the movie. Harry and Philip are talking on the phone. Harry says that he is playing the right notes to his own tune and everyone will dance to his tune. We hear Harry say this throughout the movie. I believe he is saying that he could never fit in with the world, and while everyone else was on the same page, he was not. But now as Santa, everyone can finally see him for who he really is. He is not Harry anymore. Harry ends up getting his van stuck in the snow and ends up on a street beautifully decorated with Christmas ornaments, which in turn further pushes Harry's delusion about being Santa. The residents of the streets realise who he is and are scared and angry as their children are hanging around Santa. Suddenly, one of the parents actually pull out a knife, and Harry tells the man not to come any closer and says that the children need guidance on what is good and bad. Suddenly, the little girl causes her dad to drop the knife and Harry picks it up. He ends up running away, and at this point I'm not 100% sure if his dad gets stabbed, as the camera cuts really quick. But what we do get is a homage to Frankenstein. Suddenly Harry is now this monster as flaming torches appear as they go hunting for Harry. But just like in Frankenstein, is Harry really a monster? He does punish those who are bad, and let's face it, his life has gone through a lot and he has seen a lot of stuff. But then again, he is a killer. When Harry runs away, he actually falls down. This was done by accident as Brandon actually lost his footing while running, but the director liked it so much he decided to keep it in. Harry ends up going back to his childhood home and confronts Phil. Harry ends up actually blaming Phil and says that he's the root cause of his childhood trauma, saying that Phil was the first who did not believe and he's just like everyone else outside. Then suddenly Phil starts to choke Harry, and we have this beautiful comparison to the past. We have gone full circle, from Harry as a boy seeing Santa in the living room with his mum, to now Jackie on the stairs watching Phil choke Harry. In a panic, Phil drags Harry back to Harry's van. Harry regains consciousness and ends up punching Phil and drives off. As Harry drives away, the angry mob emerges and causes Harry to drive off a bridge. We then see the iconic ending of Christmas Evil. Harry flies away in his van. Now, many people have different ideas on the ending of the movie. Some say that he actually flies away and survives. Some says that he crashes and dies. I believe in the latter. I do like the ending of Christmas Evil. I think it ties things up perfectly for what the film is. Harry finally gets to be Santa Claus in his own weird, delusional, twisted way. he gets to fly away as the end of The Night Before Christmas is read. Merry Christmas to all, and to all, a good night. And that is Christmas Evil, and I think you should give it a watch. As said, the film in regard to tone and genre can be a bit all over the place, but really it works for the benefit of the film as our main character is all over the place. This in a nutshell is a story of a man traumatized as a child and becomes so obsessed with Santa that he becomes delusional and believes he actually is the true Santa. It is also a sad tale as we see the life that Harry lives, the struggles and the stress of work, a brother who is constantly angry at him, the fact of people being greedy when they are saying that they are helping the needy. Everything happening is one big boiling pot, and no wonder that it does eventually boil over. And in a way, especially around Christmas, it can get like that for everyone, especially in today's world. I think sometimes we do take for granted what we do have and what others don't, especially in a consumerist society, and really, if we don't look at ourselves in the mirror, we could end up on the naughty list. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed my review of Christmas Evil. If you did enjoy it, please like and subscribe and leave a comment, and also turn on the notification bell. And make sure you tune in next week as we're going to be looking at the classic Christmas horror film, Black Christmas. Thanks for watching.